this house that would like to communicate with us.
Oh my god! Oh my god! What the hell? The fucking lights are moving over there. What the hell? Oh my god! Can you stop?
Whoa! It starts to move. Now, you know, everyone's first reaction is it you? Is it you? Is it you? Everyone's no, I swear no, I promise no. Everyone's not. I know it's not me. The thing starts to move. People start getting freaked out.
How this works is the ideomotor response is all those tiny micromuscular movements that we don't consciously know that we're making.
My family always said we never saw the Ouija board.
Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. If you don't know me who I am, my name is Louis Quinn-Angelo and nice to meet every single one of you. I post video in regard to everything I want, such as self-improvement content, self-study English learning tips and tricks, my own personal podcast episodes, and all things true crime. So if you're down for any of that, please do consider subscribing to my channel, or if not, completely fine. Sit back, relax, chill. Okay, we're gonna vibe and go. Grab your snack, grab your drink, because I have a whole full catalog, to dump onto you. In this video, we are going to be covering one of the most controversial topics that I have ever come across in my entire life, which is none other than Ouija board. So without further ado, let's get started. So the reason why I said Ouija board is very controversial in the first place is that there are two groups of people out there where the former does believe in ghosts, paranormal activities, and spiritualism, whereas the second group, the latter, does not. Not only that, there are also scientific evidence and research that could prove the fact that Ouija board is not real. At the same time, there are certain cases that cannot be solved based off science. So we're going to be covering everything that related to Ouija board. So let me start off this video by why the vast majority of people, even including me, do not believe that Ouija board is real. So there's a thing called automedicine. If you don't know what automedicine is, it basically part of your unconscious brain that keeps you from doing the worst. For example, you are going to punch your face weirdly right now. Of course, you could do that, but the reason why you don't do that is that you're part of that unconscious brain and lock the idea that if you punch your face right now, you will get hurt, right? That is why you don't do that. Similarly, while you are talking to the Ouija board with your friends, putting your fingers on the planchette, and for example, you are connecting to your dead grandfather or grandmother and asking what is my favorite color? And in your mind, your favorite color is orange. Then your hand will automatically twitch a little bit toward, the letter that you want to spell out without you knowing this, if that makes sense. So there is another term of this thing, which is called ideomotor response, and I'm going to show this video, which will be way much clearer than my explanation, I guess. So please watch it.
That's right.
Ideomotor response.
That's right. So the way this works is the ideomotor response is all those tiny micromuscular movements that we don't consciously know that we're making. But when we imagine something, you eventually make those movements in accordance with it. You kind of set up a resonance where all those little movements kind of tie together to cause it to move the way you imagine. This is what all forms of dowsing boil down to, is dowsing shows you what you expect to see. You're picturing something right about here, and then of course the ideomotor response takes over. So when everybody puts it on here, this is super slidey, right? You got these felt things on here. So as a result, it takes virtually nothing to move it around. And so when everybody puts it down, we all expect it to go to yes.
Because of this, a lot of people, especially scientists, are not buying the fact that Ouija board is real. But there are certain cases, like I said earlier, that cannot be explained or solved based on science. Before we go down the deeper hole, let me tell you a little bit backstory about how Ouija board came from. So everything is originated from automatic writing, which started in China around 1100 AD in Song Dynasty, as far as I found on the internet. So the method is known as Fuji, which translated in English means spirit writing. So it involved a tray that guided a stick to write in sand or ashes. However, that was forbidden in China centuries later. So these things where people try to communicate with things that cannot be seen with naked eyes is called seances. There's a lot of speculations and false belief surrounding how the name came from. For example, there is a huge popular false belief that, oui means yes in French and G means yes in German. So the combination of these yes and yes becomes Ouija. But it is technically pronounced Ouija. But over time, like I said earlier, people, stick to whatever your tongues is used to. So Ouija becomes Ouija. But the other new outlets, it is claimed that Ouija board, the name is given by itself. So there was a medium by the names of Helen Peters. She was a medium who had family ties as one of the earliest patent creator. Hold on a minute. There are some individuals out there who believe that Ouija is a marketing choice because it sounds like, it comes from Egyptians or, some sort of like urban legends things or any, god things. So let's stop talking about the history of Ouija board because, to be honest, I didn't dig that deeper about how Ouija board came from.
God, please, no! 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 No!
But I know how it grew popular. Ouija board became very, very extremely popular during the war. Why? Because it is quite obvious that, a lot of people died in the war. So men are died because of the war, women are died because of the starvations, children are died because of diseases. It is reported that more than 1 million died during American Civil War. That is when a spiritual movement emerged.
I don't see anything. Guys, I think we should get out of here. Run? She's coming. Who's coming? Mother.
So what do people do in this movement? Well, as I said earlier, a lot of people die, so the rest of the family who left alive wants to contact to their dead family members, friends or relatives. They tend to use this, a variety of mediums to communicate with them. That is when Ouija became extremely popular amongst people. So one of the main reason why Ouija board was in the large part is due to the Fox sisters. Leah, Maggie, Kate, who claimed that they were being hunted by a spirit called Mr. Splitfoot. Their story captivated the public and became the first spiritualists to perform for a paying audience. I would say these ladies are very genius because if I wear them, I wouldn't be as creative as, when it's come to finding a panty during the war. They would demonstrate something called turning table, where gullible folks would place their hands on a small table, only for it to start moving beneath them, seemingly of its own volition, and spelling out messages delivered from the spirit world.
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
Hold on a minute, because I literally forgot the most important part. I need to explain what Ouija board is. So in case you don't know what Ouija board is, it is a small rectangular wood or cardboard that has letters A through Z, numbers 0 through 9, as well as yes, no, and goodbye. And words and numbers are arranged in semicircle. There's also a thing called planchette, which is a small heart-shaped or tear-shaped piece of wood that you use as a movable indicator to spell out, verses or allegedly messages delivered by the spirit. So that's everything I got in regard to the history of how Ouija board became popular. And as I said earlier, I'm not gonna go deeper down to this history thing. But right now, we're going to be talking about 5 crime cases that people believe that Ouija board was somehow responsible. So people believe that one of the very first victims of Ouija board is none other than the person who brought Ouija board into spotlight, William Fult. William Fult was born on July 24, 1870, and he was one of the 10 children. By the age of 26, he was working as this Cobston inspector in his hometown, Baltimore, and not only that, he also worked as a varnisher, which led to his job as foreman at the Cunard Novelty Company, which was founded on October 30, 1890, the same year that Elijah Bond filed the first patent for talking board. By the way, I forgot to talk about Elijah. So who is Elijah? There was a huge production in France, and when Elijah saw people playing this board, he had got an idea to create this portable side of Ouija board, and it is claimed that he was the first inventor of Ouija board. So he teamed up with his friends Charles and this coffin maker Rack, I don't know how to pronounce this name. So they created this portable side of Ouija board and they started to capitalize. So guys, I know you guys have these questions as I do. Why was a coffin maker in the mingle of creating a Ouija board in the first place? Well, funerals are one of the most popping places for dead. So, when people, you know what I mean? I don't know how to phrase this in English, but people came to funeral for their lives, and when they were about to leave funeral and they spot people doing Ouija board in the corner of the room, and they would go like, what the heck is that? And you would go like, what is it called? A Ouija board or talking board that you could communicate with your dead father or mother or wife or husband or sister or brother. So people will go like, give me 5 of these.
Nice.
So yeah, Elijah is one of the fathers of Ouija board, I would say. Okay, so let's get back to William Fult. His death is quite mysterious because everything went well until one day he talked to his personal Ouija board and asked him where he should, start a new project, and the board told him to build a new factory on Hartford Avenue in Baltimore. So he stuck to this plan and built a new factory in that area. Okay, so flash forward to February 24, 1927. William came over to this new factory and climbed to the rooftop to supervise the installation of a flagpole. And when he was, leaning against the railing pole, he fell to the ground below. And when the worker noticed this loud snap, they came over to where the noise came from, and they spotted William dying on the ground. So they sent him to the hospital. And you know what happened to William? A fractured rib pierced his heart, which is an injury that is less likely to survive. And unfortunately, he was pronounced dead shortly after arriving at the hospital. That is one. A lot of speculations popped up, okay, regarding his death. So because he talked to the Ouija board before everything was set up, so people presumed that it has something to do with Ouija board, or was it accident? No one really knows. And that new factory is a 3-story building, mind you. So he fell from a 3-story building and died, but no one really know whether it is accident or, because of the Ouija board. In February 2001, there was a woman by the name of Carol Sue Elvica, who was a 53-year-old woman from the Oklahoma. She was not only a mother but also a widow. So she would go for Ouija board for everything, like every decision that she made. So, whenever she had to decide on something, always consult with Ouija board. Until one day, her son-in-law, Brian Rauch, and her granddaughter were evil and planned to kill her. So she didn't want let this happen to her. So in his sleep, she grabbed a knife from the kitchen, went to his bedroom, and stabbed him in his sleep to death with a single blow to his chest. Fortunately, on the way, killed her granddaughter. Her daughter interrupted her. And the craziest part is that instead of calling the police, you remember this is in 2001, okay, which is not a decade ago. So instead of calling or dispatching 911, do you know what these ladies did? They fled the scene. They just drove off. No comment, no judgment, okay? And what is worse than is that the daughter let Carol to drive the car. You let the murderer to drive the car. So they experienced the car crash, okay? And here, karma is real. Karma is a real one. So in the car crash, her daughter, Tammy, and her granddaughters were completely fine, in contrast to Carol, who had broken both of her ankles. But this lady was still committed to the plan. She shoved her granddaughter into the upcoming traffic, So she was basically killing her granddaughter, but she failed. So when her daughter dispatched 911 and police showed up, Carol was in the wood, naked. So when she was charged with murder, she was asked, why she committed this crime, and she said that the board told her to do so. And the craziest part is that she had no history of mental illness or odd behavior, no signs of alcohol or substance abuse, nothing. No criminal record. The board just told her to do so. And she was very committed to, she was told. She lost her marbles. I think she was manipulated by the board. I don't know. So let's go over to the another case. So in December 2007, there were two teenage boys by the name of Joshua and Donald. So they were basically questioning about, what teenage boys and girls questioned themselves. What should they do once they finish their high school or their university? When these two teenage kids played Ouija board, the board told him that they should be a serial killer. And the first victim that they should kill was mom. The planchette spelled out M-O-M, mom. And you know what they did? What these little dudes did? They took the Ouija board's instructions and killed Donald's sister, Elizabeth, before murdering Donald's mother, Laurie, with Joshua fatally stabbed Elizabeth's throat. After hiding Elizabeth's body, the two waited for Laurie, and once attack broke out, Laurie managed to call 911, but it would be in vain as Tucker bludgeoned her to death with a dumbbell before the police arrived. And likewise, there was no history of substance abuse, no domestic violence, no mental issues. The board told them to do so, and they did what they did. The last but not the least case that involved Ouija board is the Carroll family. On Christmas Eve in 2014, the father, Paul, in the family received message from Ouija board saying that their family dog was... Guys, let this sink in. The Ouija board told Paul that their family dog had become inhabited by the evil. Rather than, explain this common position of pets to the vet, Paul thought it better to kill and dismember the animal, was later charged with animal death. But of course it did not end that, okay? It is not enough for this family. While Paul was awaiting his sentencing, his wife Margaret and his daughter Katrina took another go at the Ouija board, and the duo received a message from the spirit saying that they would end up in this unimaginable death. And their only recourse was to take a cocktail of pills and burn down the house, set a fire. The courts did not agree with the duo's, preventative measures, of course, who would believe, and sentenced both to 4 years for arson. Guys, I forgot again. So, the reason why people were playing and talking to spirit, like playing Ouija board at that time, is that they thought that they were communicating with God or higher powers beside God, not, demons and, what I mean? So they thought that God was messaging, like delivering messages, preventing them from potential dangers. So that is all for today, guys, and it is very insane, I know. So yeah, that's it. And take care, stay safe. That's it. Bye, see you back.